Good afternoon, Sean. John Worrell here.
Hi, John. How are you?
Good. Got to hand it to you. The Wally World comment was among your best last night.
Shows my age a little bit, right? I don't think a lot of the room got it. I guess I'm getting older.
Gotcha. On the, I guess, more serious things, your injury report seems to be exceptionally long. Any updates on these guys, Taryn, Benford, Bernard, Sam,
Yeah. So Taylor still dealing with his calf. Gabe with his knee. Russell with his knee. Tyrell Dotson with his shoulder. I'm going down the list here. Taron Johnson is in the concussion protocol. Balin Spector with his back. Terrell Bernard with his ankle. Sam Martin with the hamstring. Christian Benford with his knee. We'll take it day by day. We'll see how the week unfolds, and that's the latest information I have for you guys.
Gotcha. And we've got, I mean, I'm sure you're very aware of it. We've got another forecast of lake effect snow going to be hitting the region. How much do you worry on a short week that it might affect your practice schedule if there's a driving ban or, guys just can't get to the facility?
Yeah, we were just discussing it. I just left the game plan meeting and came in here to discuss that with some of our operations staff. Just making sure we're on top of it best we can. And we've got a plan in place to make sure we're getting the players in at the right time, as well as the staff, and trying to be on top of that from a scheduling standpoint. So we'll handle it. I'm confident in that, and the best thing we can do right now is just have great communication around it for right now.
Gotcha. So practice is still on as far as you know for tomorrow and Thursday.
Yes.
Good. Thank you very much.
Sure, John.
Hey, Coach, I just want to ask you about the Chiefs. You guys have faced them once so far this season. I know that that was the regular season, but what stands out about their offense this year?
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at what Patrick Mahomes has done over the course of his career, in particular in the playoffs, he's the catalyst for that offense, as well as Andy, and they've got a great pairing there, and they've done a great job over the years, and have been very successful. So we have a lot of respect for what they've accomplished and what they've done this season.
They've had a new piece this season. Rashee Rice really come on strong toward the end of the season. What have you seen from him? What type of receiver has he been for the team?
Yeah, good young player. Does a lot with the ball in his hands and can get behind a defense rather quickly. Good young player that is just another weapon that they've added over the years here.
Thanks, Coach.
Sure.
Hey, Coach. Hope you're doing well. I just had a couple questions about Khalil. He had, such a big play last night. And I was wondering, in the draft process last year, what did you see out of him, or I guess 2 years ago, what did you see out of him that, made you take him in the fifth round?
Yeah, I mean, I give credit to Brandon and his staff. This was a player that, again, wasn't as highly decorated from a measurable standpoint, from a 40-time standpoint, from a height, weight, speed standpoint. Those are the things that get talked about a lot, and they flash across the bottom of the screen and during the draft or the combine or what have you. And Khalil was a good football player, and we're into identifying and targeting good football players. So that is what I think everyone's starting to see now is those intangibles that have led him to become a very good football player.
And just how have you seen him? I think he got a lot more snaps when Dawson was out. How have you seen him grow throughout the season to, now that Dawson's back, he's still obviously a big part of this offense?
Well, he takes a team first approach to his work, and whether he's highly involved in the game plan or not as involved, you don't notice the difference. And I think that's really speaks volumes about who he is, and again, the amount of respect that his teammates have for him. He's all about the team.
Thanks, Coach.
Sure. Is that it?
Dave, we can't hear you, so we're going to go on to the next question. Mookie.
Okay, I'm sorry. I unmuted. Excuse me. You got me there?
I got you.
Yeah. Sean, Dave Naylor from TSN. Excuse me there. Question is, and just as really from a sort of football education standpoint, you will be competing against a team that has 48 hours more rest than you do because of the storm delay in the Saturday AFC games, especially with regard to the type of injuries that you're dealing with your team. What is the significance of that?
Well, really no significance. There's nothing we can do about it other than getting ourselves ready to go. I understand where you're coming from, 100%. Our team has fought all season long. We're not going to stop fighting now. Our team's been resilient, and our players have done a phenomenal job of stepping up when someone has gone down at their position or their position group. And you saw evidence of that last night in the game as well. And we've got to make sure that we are putting all the time in that we need to put into, whether it be treatment opportunities right now, maximizing those opportunities to get ourselves as healthy as we possibly can for game time on Sunday, or in our preparation and studying the opponent, that being the Chiefs and the defending, obviously, Super Bowl champs here. So we have a lot of respect for them. We know it's a big challenge for us, and but we are focused on getting our level of play to the level it needs to be.
Thank you very much.
Sure.
Hi, Sean. With Terrell Bernard, obviously looked like a real serious injury with the car coming off. Where is he at? Can you give us any more details on how you're kind of viewing that injury and what his week might look like here?
Yeah, don't know really for sure. I've yet to meet with Nate to get a little bit more clarity on what his week's going to look like. But like with everyone, we're just going to see. I'm going to wake up tomorrow and see, hey, how's anything changed from the way we leave it tonight once I get a chance to be around Nate a little bit more here.
Okay. And then Kyer Elam, he talked about after the game, hearing the noise about, people calling him a bust, media, fans, and how he was in a really bad place a couple months ago. What was it like to see a young player that you're obviously developing going through that, and then obviously the injury and everything around that, and see him kind of persevere through it?
Yeah, I couldn't be more proud of Kyer and a young player, right, in this situation here, and how he handled it, how he stayed mentally tough. He kept working, and he comes back and helps us in a huge way last night with that interception in the end zone down there in the red zone. So I think it's another great example and a testament to him of perseverance and hard work and keeping yourself, believing in oneself, and even though when it seems like sometimes many around you, or in this case the outside world, isn't, and that's sometimes what happens through the journey of a season.
Mm-hmm. And then finally, there's a report from ESPN that the Bills have released Leonard Fournette. Is that true? And if so, what went into that decision?
Yeah, Leonard, we wish him well. He did a great job while I was here, and so I'm not going to get into the reasons why and anything, and it wasn't anything conduct-wise or anything like that. He did a phenomenal job, and so we move forward, and we wish him well and thank him for his time when he was with us here.
Do you expect potential movement on the practice squad because of the injuries you guys are dealing with?
Possibly, yeah, possibly, and that'll kind of be forthcoming. Any move we would make in the next 24 hours, possibly.
Thanks, Sean. Appreciate it.
Hey, Sean, I was going to ask about Terrell Bernard as well. So I know this is a little similar, but just to clarify, does he still need additional testing to see where he's at, or is it more just kind of the testing's done and seeing how he's feeling now?
I think just more further evaluation in terms of how he responds to the injury that he sustained last night. So we're just taking it one day at a time right now.
Gotcha. And then that linebacker room has been so banged up with all these different injuries. What have you seen out of this group as a whole, though, throughout the season of, guys stepping up, kind of helping each other behind the scenes stuff that we don't see of guys who might be called upon now?
Yeah, I think what you're talking about is guys loving one another enough that they are willing to serve and help each other, right? And not only step up from the standpoint of playing time and stepping in for someone who sustained an injury, but also being great teammates, guys supporting one another, doing what they have to get themselves back to help the team. And I think that's just it's a form of love in a lot of different ways.
Thanks.
Coach. Coach Mookie Hawk is well for Sports Today. How you doing?
I'm doing well, Mookie. How are you today?
I'm good, Coach. Victory Tuesday. You know, obviously on Monday you have business to take care of and the snow and all that good stuff. But to football we go. How crucial was it when the score was 21-10, 3:40 to go in the third quarter, 3rd and 9? Diggs' big catch right there, off script from Josh. How crucial was that catch?
Yeah, that was huge. That was a huge play and connection. Great to see between those two guys making that connection, and loved the energy that came from it, and the vibe and the rhythm we got into after that.
Absolutely. Now, after you done watch tape, what must this team improve on to advance?
Well, I think overall, there's things we can do from a defensively, from a rushing coverage standpoint, and that working better together. And we've got some opportunities. We left some opportunities out there in the kicking game yesterday, as well as just offensively, just with some situations there, so maybe some situational football that we can do a better job of.
Absolutely, absolutely. But you live to, fight another day. You always said, Coach, the recipe to winning was, one, earning the right to do it, winning your division, and playing home games in January. Now, the big bad wolf come to your home, try to snatch that recipe now. So how much of that gives you a boost of confidence knowing that a game of that magnitude is being played at home?
Well, we're just grateful that it is at home for our fans, that they can watch us play this deep into the playoffs. It's hard to get to where we are, and I can't tell you how proud I am of our guys and the way that they've persevered throughout this whole season. And they've become very resilient in their identity, and that's become their nature. And I think the key, though, is we have to get our level of play up to a point where we can compete at the highest level this weekend and get ourselves ready to go here this week.
Absolutely, Coach. Have a great week of practice.
All right, thanks.
Hey, Sean, quick question about Sunday. That became a non-game day, obviously, unexpectedly. You knew who your opponent was next on Sunday. You knew the Chiefs were going to be the team you would play had you won yesterday. Did you guys spend any time on Sunday trying to get Chiefs work done? Because I would think theoretically that the Steelers game plan would have been completed through Saturday night, and you suddenly have this extra day to work with.
Yeah, some of us were, some of us weren't able to because of the travel ban. So it was I think about 50-50 split down the middle. That if I it's just some guys were able to, some guys weren't able to.
Are you further ahead than maybe you might be on the next game because you had that extra day, or are you entering Tuesday where you would be normally coming off a Monday night game?
Well, again, it depends. When you call a game, I've been around coordinators, play callers that don't even want to, that they can't look forward, just because of you're trying to call a game. Sometimes position coaches are able to a little bit more easily from a standpoint of that they're not calling the game. So, they're able to prepare a little bit ahead that way. So like I said, I think it's probably split 50-50 down the middle, some of which because of what I just shared. And then the other reasons are more just because sometimes play callers don't feel comfortable. It starts to mess with their brain when they're reading two different books at the same time. So,
which camp do you fall in? Are you one of the guys that has to stay on the current game?
Normally, yes. I did a little bit of work to the point where I started to get a little bit blurry, so I had to put it down. And just it's hard not to when you have some time to work ahead. But you also, if you don't take care of business, you're not even you're not even working on that next opponent. So
Thanks, that Sean. Appreciate it.
sure.
Hey, Coach, one more for me. This Chiefs defense this year has been really good, just allowing about 17 points a game. They allow only 7 to the Dolphins. What can you expect from a Steve Spagnuolo defense?
Yeah, Steve, we worked together for a number of years with Andy in Philadelphia there, and he's done a great job with his career, and he's taken a lot from Jim Johnson's pressure schemes and made them his own and put his own signature on it. And he likes to give the offense a lot of different looks, a lot of different fronts, a lot of different pressure looks. He does a great job scheming. And then they have some exceptional players, namely 95 up front, who creates a lot of pressure just on his own. So great scheme, some great players, and it'll be a big challenge for us.
Thanks.
Hey, Sean, I just wanted to follow up on Thad's question about, looking ahead to the Chiefs and all that. Does playing them as recently as you have played them a little over maybe a month and a half ago, does that help in this case that, maybe only so much has changed since you were preparing for them?
Familiarity certainly helps, as opposed to maybe playing an opponent that we haven't faced in a year or two. There is just still the normal the work you got to put in, the elbow grease, if you will, Elena, just in terms of the time on task and making sure you're dotting the I's and crossing the T's.
How much of it is looking back at that, that first game between, the game you played against them? Can you use a lot of that tape?
Well, we look at it, but I think there's been 5, if I'm not mistaken, maybe 4 or 5 true games since then that both teams have played. So we'll focus mostly on that and factor it all in together and try and come up with the right plan.
Thanks.
Sure.
Yes, good afternoon, Head Coach Sean McDermott, George Radney, Challenger Community News. How you doing this afternoon?
I'm pretty good, George. How are you today?
Great. A little cold, still cold, but my question for you is, how do you get the mindset of the guys to go out and play in this below zero type weather and still bring the physicality to the game?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think when you got the right types of players and they know how hard you work all season to get to this point, cold is a secondary factor at that point, right? So it's not the main focus. It's not even kind of in our vision at that point. It's you prepare for it. Jeff Mazurek, our equipment manager, and his staff do a great job of equipping us with everything we need to stay as warm as possible. But it's time to go out there and execute a job.
Yes, indeed. And last question: how would you rate your defensive front now that you have Daquan Jones back? And I see you brought Linville Joseph in. The first time we got a chance to see both of them on the field at the same time yesterday. How would you rate your defensive front's play yesterday?
Yeah, I thought there were some really good things in the run game. I really did. And the run game stood out the most. And then pass game wise, I thought we could have done a better job affecting the quarterback and being more coordinated with our rush and rush plan there. So there's things that we want back, that I want back. I got to do a better job putting them in position. And, we'll work on that this week here.
All right. Thank you, Coach. And good luck this coming Sunday.
Okay. Thank you, George.